and the result arrived. The result was coming into the sequence until chest number 134 and mine was 136. So I was expecting the next number would be mine. Suddenly after 134, the person who was giving us the result, he shouted out chest number 118, and I was completely shattered that my chest number has not been called out.
विवेक पांडे, वेलकम बैक इन टारगेट डिफेंस फोर्सेस। इस वीडियो में उत्कर्ष कर्नाटक ने अपना एसएसबी एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया है जो अभी रिसेंटली रिकमेंड हुए हैं अपने 8th अटेम्प्ट में आफ्टर 5 स्क्रीन आउट्स एंड 2 नॉन रिकमेंडेशंस। बिफोर स्टार्टिंग द वीडियो लेट मी टेल यू अ ब्रीफ अबाउट उत्कर्ष कर्नाटक। उत्कर्ष कर्नाटक ने अपनी स्कूलिंग सैनिक स्कूल घोड़ाखाल से की थी, फॉलोड बाय हिज बीटेक फ्रॉम बिरला इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ अप्लाइड साइंसेज भीमताल। उत्कर्ष बचपन से ही एक डिफेंस एस्पायरेंट थे क्योंकि सैनिक स्कूल में ही हैड अ क्लियर माइंडसेट कि उन्होंने आर्मी ज्वाइन करनी है और ही वांटेड टू बी द पार्ट ऑफ पैरा एसएफ, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली ही वाज नॉट एबल टू क्लियर द रिटन एग्जामिनेशंस ऑफ एनडीए। देन ही कंटिन्यूड गिविंग एसएसबी ऑफ टेक्निकल एंट्रीज, देन ही क्लियर्ड रिटन एग्जामिनेशंस ऑल्सो, but unfortunately he was getting screen out. So 5 times he got a screen out, 2 times non-recommendations, and finally he continued his journey and on his 8th attempt he got recommended finally. चलिए आपको एक इंसिडेंट बताता हूँ, एक काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग इंसिडेंट है। एक्चुअली उत्कर्ष की जब कॉन्फ्रेंस थी, आफ्टर हिज कॉन्फ्रेंस ही गेव मी ए कॉल। उत्कर्ष ने बताया कि सर मेरा ये चेस्ट नंबर है एंड कॉन्फ्रेंस वेंट गुड, दे आस्क्ड मी सर्टेन क्वेश्चंस एंड आई वाज एबल टू आंसर दोज क्वेश्चंस इन अ कॉन्फिडेंट वे एंड आई वाज अ बिट रिलैक्स्ड बाय हिज रिस्पॉन्स। मुझे लगा था कि लाइक विल बी गेटिंग अ पॉजिटिव रिजल्ट मोस्ट प्रोबेबली, बट आफ्टर हिज रिजल्ट ही गेव मी अ कॉल अगेन एंड ही सेड सॉरी सर, नेगेटिव दिस टाइम ऑल्सो, they just call these chest numbers for the recommendation. And जब वो chest numbers ले रहा था and he gave his chest number also, suppose it's 21, he said such chest number 21 भी उन्होंने बोला। Then I asked him that was 21 your chest number? He said yes sir, it was my chest number. Finally I made it, and that was the moment that made my day again. So this is how Utkarsh got recommended in his final attempt. Utkarsh was very consistent with his all sessions over here. He was regular with his lecture rates, regular with his news, regular for the PPNDT sessions. Multiple interviews लिए थे उत्कर्ष के. Even in offline batches, he used to come here for the offline interviews. So this is the journey of Utkarsh. Definitely आप काफ़ी inspire होंगे by going through the journey of Utkarsh Karnatak. So must watch the video till the end. अगर आप भी एक सच्चे डिफेंस एस्पायरेंट हैं who are looking for a platform where you can practice till your SSB, either from online mode or from offline mode, then my dear friends, let me tell you one thing, you are at the right place. Just provide your details in the given WhatsApp number, rest we will take care of. Here comes the journey of Utkarsh, must watch till the end.
Jai Hind everyone. Firstly, on behalf of each and every family member of mine, I extend my regards and my thank you to each and every member of the Target Defense Forces, the administrator, Mr. Vivek Pandey sir, and all the team who has helped me improve my flaws and to develop myself as a new individual so that I could easily pass through the services selection board. Thank you everyone. So now I'm proceeding towards my journey, how it started and how I became and nurtured myself so that I was capable enough to conquer this and get recommended. So the journey of being a raw individual to bearing the individual who was having a chest number carrying a plus sign on it. My journey started of SSB in the year 2020. After a streak of examinations, I failed in each and every examination, and the first examination that I cleared or passed was the INET exam. The cutoff was quite low, but my score was quite decent, so I went on for my first rejection at the services selection board at Bangalore. Over there I went, and at that time there was 0 day over there, so I enjoyed the stay and I was quite hopeful that I would get screened in at least at that attempt of mine. I explored the insights of the services selection board and I was looking at the various boards over there. They were written that who is having interview, at what time is he supposed to report. So I was quite happy to see all those things and the environment. But being from a Sainik school or the alumni of a Sainik school, I was thinking that I will easily pass through the services selection board carrying the tag of an ex Ghoda Khali. But mind myself, I would like to tell you that carrying such tag won't help you clear any of the examination. They are not searching for a tag that you are having. They are searching for the brand that you yourself are. So there was streak of screen out, followed by the other one again at Bangalore from the 24th SSB in September 2020, and afterwards I had 3 screen out that were consecutive. I was screened in for the first time for the FCAT entry, and I was quite hopeful that at this attempt I'll be surely getting inside the services selection board and inside the forces as well. So I was a quite joyful person, and as our result was announced in the EFSB at that point of time, I was hogging that puris and potatoes that we were served over there in small packets. So suddenly the gentleman, he came and he announced the result, and I wasn't even paying the attention towards him. I was busy munching puris and all, and suddenly I was told that my chest number has been announced, so I will have to leave the packet over there. And then I went over there, and the journey was quite exciting. I was quite hopeful that at that attempt I would clear the SSB interview. But the destiny always carries a different plan if you are not that much prepared. I personally feel that, like the electrons, whenever a semiconductor's electron, they have to become themselves as conducting. So we have to send the valence electrons towards the conduction band. Similar is the exercise in clearing any of the examination. The level of preparation that we are putting in, it should be sufficient enough to make us go in from the insulation band or the non-valency band to the conduction band. So the same thing was happening with me, and this SSB was quite turning. I would say it was a turning point in my life, as I couldn't do well in the interview, and there were certain questions that were asked. Although I was having a very good knowledge about the defense and about the aircrafts, but still over there were certain questions that I was asked and I couldn't answer them. Things were quite tough, but I realized that if you have to get into the forces, the amount of hard work required will be double that I'm putting it at the moment. So I started, and this time it was a commitment that yes, from next time onwards, at least if I face the interview, I won't let myself down. So I started, and this point was somewhat inspiring point in my life, I would say. And after that, I again suffered through one screen out, and this time it was from the CDS entry, as barely people achieve this mark of clearing the written examination of CDS, as it is growing tougher these days. But I was screened out from Allahabad, and again I was carrying a decent amount of shame for myself that again the streak of screen outs has started in my life. The last turning point for the SSB part happened when I was screened in for the first time in the Indian Army. That was in 21st SSB at Bhopal, and over there everything was fine. Most of my group mates, they are still connected to me, and they still cherish those moments, and they still tell me that you would have got recommended at that point of time. But yeah, certainly there were certain mistakes that I must have made. These mistakes are like I wasn't responding in a proper manner to the interviewing officer. Like I wasn't that friendly, but yes, I became a way more formal. And also there were certain mistakes that he wanted me to realize, and I realized them. So I wasn't acting that much smarter at that point of time, and yes, the degree of smartness was reduced. And certainly I also realized that this made me underconfident in front of him. So the resilience factor also dropped in my performance, and as a result I couldn't convey what I wanted to say. After we were conferenced out, everybody in the bus, they were telling me that yaar तुझे तो हो जाना चाहिए था. And I was saying that I also feel the same. But still the decision of the board is above everybody's opinion. So I accepted the fact and I went. And after that I got this insight in me that yes, I am a deserving person and I should be inside the forces one day. So again the preparations, they continued, as I had no other option. I started, and there was another SSB of mine again at first is AFSB Dehradun, for which I was again screened out. And this time this screened out, it touched my heart because I was well prepared. But yes, I would say the level of preparation was not that organized which I was expecting from myself. As I had a lot of screen outs in my life, so I decided that this time whenever I go, I will be going full proof. I will leave no stone unturned, and surely I will try to become the a recommended candidate now. So I started practicing my discipline routine. I also devoted some time to my mental health because most of the times what we see after getting screened out or conference out, the mental health of the candidate it deteriorates, and after getting screened out, it deteriorates considerably. So I started focusing on my mental health. I also gathered some knowledge about the defense forces, and above that, I stayed consistent in all my online sessions of target defense forces. Over here, I would like to mention that there are candidates who really help each other in upliftment. The motto of TDF, that is, we rise by lifting others, is certainly a true thing that is said. Here we can expect such an environment that everybody contributes to everybody else's success, and the success that is achieved by anybody amongst us is implied on everybody. Everybody is equally happy about it. So that this is something good that I see in Target Defense Forces family. Being associated from 3 years, I also wanted my name to be over there in the recommendation list. And every time we were shown one of the recommendation, the pointer of next will be you was annoying me at times because I wanted to see myself over there. So this next will be you. The preparation of this started in the month of March. That was 1st of March 2023. And after that, I decided that I will be very consistent. And not being consistent doesn't mean that only towards the work that we are putting in or the hard work that we are putting in, but for everything, like for fulfilling the promises, for fulfilling the punctuality, to not to waste time, and all these habits are also a part of being consistent. We have to be idealistic over there, and yes, as heroes doesn't commit any mistake. So we being personnel of armed forces should also be prone of not committing the mistakes. So I started my journey over there, and there were good amount of recommendations from the TDF family, and it was again a very inspiring and motivating factor for me. Just a week before my SSB, I got to know that one of my friend also got recommended from here. He was my friend whom I met in this platform only, and he qualified the prestigious services selection board at Bangalore itself. So deep down, I had a feeling that I also have to do it, and this is a very good time where I should gain success. But the manner I was still not aware about it. But the hard work that I have put in was somewhat beyond the limits of mine. I started revising all the things that I had, and I also interacted with few of the candidates who were recommended and were a part of the TDF family. And yes, they helped me in improving a lot of things like the SRTs, the TATs, the WATs, how to frame it, how to practice it. And I think the last 15 days were very crucial for me. After entering the services selection board's premises, I met my friend who got recommended from the Bangalore board, and we interacted for around 1 or 2 minutes only. And at that point of time, I was having a feeling that everybody from the TDF family is getting recommended, then why not me? I appeared into the screening with full determination, and this time my screening wasn't good, though my OAR was quite good. But during my discussion, I was only able to give 2 or 3 points, and our result arrived. I was quite disappointed by my performance, and at that point of time, I was thinking that this time I have committed a big mistake by not giving much of the points. And the result arrived. The result was coming into the sequence until chest number 134, and mine was 136. So I was expecting the next number would be mine. Suddenly after 134, the person who was giving us the result, he shouted out chest number 118, and I was completely shattered that my chest number has not been called out. Just after he announced chest number 118 and the person who was bearing that number, he was finished by giving his credentials, I was just about to sit into the ground, and suddenly he shouted chest number 136. And immediately I got up, I went towards him, and I was happy that yes, I got screened at once again. And I was also expecting it because most of the points that I gave were valid and they were group oriented, so I was expecting this result to a certain degree. Then all the processes they started. In my GTO, the next day was a psychology part, and over there I was doing my TATs, and suddenly there was a previously recommended candidate who was sitting beside me. I was looking at his copy and I was looking at my copy also. So I was thinking that I'm also writing good. My stories seem to be more organized and all these things. I was noticing this. So I thought that I should also I should get recommended this time. But as we were finished with our TATs in our SRTs and our WATs, I committed a mistake again. In my SRTs, I did only 35 SRTs, and it was a big breakdown for me. Although I was able to complete all the WATs, and my sentences, I feel that they weren't up to the mark that I was expecting. So I came out and I spoke to that guy that I have done only 35 SRTs and all these things. So he said that people get recommended in 28 SRTs also. I was thinking he's just trying to console me, but then I said, okay, I'll focus on the remaining part of the SSB. In my GTO, in my PGTA, most of the boys, they were having a big tiff amongst themselves, so nobody was listening to anybody. And as it happens in the repeaters group, people were just rushing with the helping materials over there, and they just barely managed to finish all the tasks. But at that point of time, I was also giving some valid points. So the GTO, they tried me to gain attention from the group by shouting. They said that, gentlemen, one amongst you has already given a very valuable point, you should consider him. So they were again discussing amongst themselves, and after certain discussions, they got to know that it was my point he was referring to. So we did well. And talking about the command task over there, in my command task, I was not doing that good because I wasn't called for being a subordinate to anybody. Although during my time, I finished the task in around 15 to 20 seconds. It was a easy task that we refer to as the bomb task, and I finished it in 15 seconds. So I thought that I didn't took help from any of my helpers, and also I was called for help at a very I was called only for once, and that person was also a friend of mine. That's why he called me. Otherwise, everybody was called twice or thrice. I was called only once. And also I just took one help from my helpers, nothing much. So I was expecting that this time I will get conferenced out. Well, talking about my interview part, in my interview, I was again given a series of questions related to international relations, and international relations, I think I had a very good command on. So I replied in a very efficient manner. My answers were well laid and they were organized, and I feel that the interviewing officer might have got impressed by the level of knowledge that I was possessing about India and China and India and Pakistan. So and those were the things, and then he came to my PIQ part, and there was nothing in which I was sticking. And again, the thanks goes to the interview video of the TDF, which if anybody practices, he can do well in interview for sure. And after that, going to my conference. In my conference, again, there were certain things which were quite analogous. Everything was going in a sequence from 1 to 10, chest number wise. And suddenly after 10, chest number 21, which I was wearing, came up. So they immediately called for chest number 21, and I was sitting at the waiting hall over there, and this wait continued for around 20 to 25 minutes. I was waited outside, and then suddenly I was going, and I was just going like Jerry walks in Tom and Jerry. I was walking in the same fashion, and as soon as I entered into the hall, because in Bangalore we have 2 more rooms before the actual entrance of the conference hall, and while I was walking through them, I saw all the assessors, and it was a state of panic for me because I didn't expect them after this door. So I just marched in, I seeked the permission of getting in, and then I sat on the chair. And after that, the first question that was asked was how Bluetooth works. And I answered, and they again asked me the frequency in which Bluetooth operates. I replied that it operates in infrared. He gave me a second chance for a second thought, but I again replied with infrared. Then again I was asked with PIQs and a lot of questions. And during my suggestions, he asked me that any suggestion that you would like to give. I said, sir, no suggestion. He said, I insist. I said, sir, no suggestion. So then he said, okay. And then suddenly I was sitting over there. He said, okay, you may leave. So I went outside. I was discussing with other people that my conference went for a very long duration, like around 10 to 15 minutes. And everything was like they asked me for my PIQ. So everybody was telling me that don't worry, longer conferences are mostly for the borderline cases, but people get recommended for that. And then I was worried that if I was borderline and I was dropped by one of the incorrect answers that I gave, that was for the Bluetooth frequency, as it operates in ultra high frequency radio waves. So I was like, I have answered a wrong question, so I think that I may get dropped out this time again. And suddenly, after everybody was done with the conferences, some had really long conferences, although I had the longest, but some have considerably long conferences. And after that, we had our results. And in our results, the first chest number that was announced was chest number 6. And as he was walking forward, I saw that how he has performed, and I was discussing about it. And suddenly, another result that was announced was chest number 2121. He announced it in this manner, so I was just seeing that who was chest number 2121. And then people said that you are just step forward. And as I was about to step forward, he announced my father's name. So again, I was panicked. I said, sir, it's my name, and you have announced my father's name. So he said, okay, I'm sorry. Then he corrected himself, and then I got recommended. At that point of time, my every reaction was like quite neutral. People were reacting, some were crying, some were really happy, some were shouting. And at that time, I was like, how to react, what to react, and why to react. I was just moving forward, and then we were going for the commandant's address. Although those things didn't happen, we were addressed by one of the ADAM officer over there, and then we were subjected to a medical part, and then we were told to inform our family members, our colleagues about the success, and we were given our mobile phones, so we informed everybody. So this was a small journey that I had, although still the merit list is awaited, but yes, these were one of the most wonderful moments that I've enjoyed in my life. And I would like that everybody from the Target Defense Forces family enjoys this, because the amount of hard work that we put in, our administrator he puts in behind us, is something remarkable and tremendous. So all the best to everybody who has listened to me. I hope you get inspired by this, and thank you everyone.